Sure, it's happened to you. You get your paycheck, feel rich for a few days, and before you know it, poof, the money disappears. Why does this happen? Today I'm going to show you 5 reasons why your money vanishes without you noticing. And the best part is, I'll tell you how to fix it so you don't run out of money halfway through the month. The famous ant expenses. Small purchases that seem insignificant, but, added together, they can be a ridiculous amount of money. Maybe you recognize some of these situations. Like your daily coffee. Bah, it's just $3. Alright, I get it, but let's dig deeper. Multiply that by 20 days a month, that's $60. And in a year, that's $720. Do you know what you can do with that? Surely many of those bills wouldn't be a problem anymore. Or maybe the classic fast food because I don't want to cook. Let's assume this happens a couple of times a week, optimistically $10 per meal, but you know it's often more. That's $80 a month and almost $1,000 a year. Just with these 2 habits, you could be spending over $1,600 a year without realizing it, maybe even more. A good solution to these problems would be, bring coffee from home and cook in batches. Clearly, it's a bit more effort, but you'd save a lot of money. Of course, I'm not saying you shouldn't treat yourself to these conveniences from time to time. You can also use the envelope method, set a weekly cash limit for these types of expenses. Just by cutting these small ant expenses in half, you'd be saving almost $1,000 a year. But it's not just coffee or fast food that can drain your money. There are also subscriptions you don't even use, but they keep charging you. If you check your bank account right now, you're sure to find at least one subscription you forgot you were paying for. Like these examples. The Ghost Gym, this is a classic. You got motivated at the beginning of the year, signed up for the gym, paid for the membership, and, well, you went a couple of times and then stopped. But the subscription is still there, charging month after month. Let's do the math. If you pay $40 a month, in 6 months you'll have spent $240. But if you only went 3 times in those 6 months, that means each visit cost you $80. And the worst part is that most people think, since I'm paying for it, I'll go back someday, but it never happens. But unlike those subscriptions that drain your account, ours is designed to fill it. Subscribe now and start taking control of your money. Help us reach 1,000 Money Minds and together we'll grow your bank account. Hit the button and join us. But of course, there are other subscriptions besides the gym that make us lose money, like streaming service subscriptions. Do you really take advantage of them? It's happened to all of us. You subscribe to Netflix, Disney+, HBO, Spotify, and Amazon Prime because they have great stuff and because you're afraid of missing out. But when you think about it, you probably only use one of those platforms, and sometimes not even that. If you pay between $7 and $10 a month for each platform, that's between $35 and $50 a month. But if you only use 1 or 2 of those platforms, everything else becomes wasted money. You'd be spending between $420 and $600 a year. But don't worry, you don't have to cancel Netflix, but you should do the following. Do a monthly or quarterly review. Are you really using all those platforms? If you're not, it's time to cancel the ones you use the least. And don't be afraid to cancel subscriptions. Many times they offer free months or discounts if you cancel and resubscribe later. Another alternative is to share with family or friends. Some services allow account sharing, which helps reduce the cost by 50, 70, or even 80%. It's important that you don't live above your means. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we're normal, that we're handling our finances acceptably, but when you least expect it, you realize that the money is never enough. The reason? You're spending more than you can really afford. And this isn't always obvious. Often, we spend on things we don't need, or we buy them in a way that seems easy. Suddenly, everything seems within reach, but payments accumulate and overwhelm you. Maybe that $1,000 phone or that amazing TV would help you. You buy them because, of course, they're on sale and you can pay in comfortable installments. But in the end, the phone costs you much more than you imagined, and you're struggling to make ends meet because you didn't calculate the interest or additional expenses that come with those long-term payments. The same happens with branded clothes. You think that with that item, you'll feel more confident, so you buy it with a credit card. You have to pay for it little by little, but in the end, you don't even have savings for emergencies, and the luxury you gave yourself now just gave you a new debt. For these things, the solution I'm giving you won't help much if you don't change your mindset. A good way to do this is to think coldly. Before you make any purchase, think if you can really afford it in cash. If you have to finance it or use a credit card to cover the expense, ask yourself, is it necessary, or is it just a momentary whim? Will I be paying for this in the future with interest? If the answer is yes, do I really need it now? Not everything you can finance is a good purchase. The terms and installments sound easy, but in the end, you end up paying much more than it originally cost. Although it can be a bit difficult if you're dealing with the "I deserve it" effect. After a week of hard work, your brain is tired, and it says, "Come on, I deserve it." At that moment, it seems totally logical to treat yourself. It's a reward for all your effort, right? But often, that "I deserve it" impulse leads us to spend on things we don't really need. And worst of all, you often don't even realize how it affects you in the long run. Maybe these situations sound familiar. The expensive weekend, after a tiring week, you decide to treat yourself. How about a weekend where everything is more expensive than usual? You go to a nice restaurant, buy something that isn't in your budget, or go partying like money doesn't matter. The problem is, you don't realize that these little indulgences quickly add up and can wreck your budget. The impulse in the store, you're walking around the mall, and suddenly, you feel the need to treat myself. You feel good and, of course, buy something you didn't even want before entering the store. Suddenly, that purchase becomes an unnecessary weight. The expensive dinner, after a whole week of work, you feel you deserve that spectacular dinner, that fancy restaurant where the bill will be higher than usual. But you forget that your credit card is already trembling from previous expenses, and what seemed like a reward becomes another burden. Keep in mind that this isn't about not enjoying life. The idea isn't to eliminate those small pleasures, but to learn how to control those impulses. You can reward yourself without going broke. For example, instead of overspending, find more affordable ways to treat yourself. A relaxing weekend without spending too much? Maybe a simpler but equally delicious dinner? Remember, rewards should enhance your well-being, not detract from your financial stability. With a little self-control, you can enjoy what you deserve without the reward costing you more than you're willing to pay. And there you have it, the 5 reasons why your money disappears without you realizing it. From those small expenses that add up to more than you think, to subscriptions you forgot you had, or the temptation to live beyond your means. We all make these mistakes, but the important thing is to recognize them and take action. Those habits, even though they may seem harmless, have a big impact over time. The good news is that with just a few adjustments, we can stop them from depleting our accounts. Remember, the first step to improving your financial situation is being aware of where your money is going. So, if any of these reasons resonated with you, you're on the right track. See you in the next video. Take care and continue taking control of your money.